Attend the world's best business workshop led by America's #1 business coach for free by subscribing on iTunes and leaving us an objective review. Claim your tickets by emailing us proof that you did it and your contact information to info@thrivetimeshow.com.
Welcome back to the Thrive Time Show on your radio. And it's not every day we have a Christian pop music star on the show. And so I'm looking at your website here, Mr. Colton Dixon. We've got coltondixon.com. And I'm looking at the website, and I'm thinking to myself, what is this a thumbprint? What's going on? Tell me about what this means, this picture of you. I've got it pulled up on the big screen behind you there. I don't know. What does your website mean?
Yeah, so it actually goes along with my last album called Identity.
Okay.
The thumbprint was used with a projector, so we projected the image onto me, and it's really just about people knowing who they are. That's what the idea behind the record is. So a thumbprint, we all have unique individual fingerprints, so we used that to symbolize our identity. We use that as a kind of a visualization, if you will, for the record Identity.
I know you're a Christian artist, but would you classify yourself as artsy?
Yes.
Really? How many hours a day do you spend in Hobby Lobby?
Oh, man, too many.
You like Hobby Lobby?
I love Hobby Lobby.
I love Hobby Lobby, too. We could meet at Hobby Lobby. I love Hobby Lobby. So Hobby Lobby is a great place where you could meet Colton Dixon. Just stay there, the one in Nashville, hang out for a year straight. You'll run into him. You can get his autograph. There he is. And when you're not out there performing in front of sold-out concerts and writing music and chasing your wife around, you two lovebirds are also working on another business venture. Is this correct?
Yeah. So I bought our first house just a few months before Annie and I got married. So almost 3 years ago this summer.
Yeah.
And our walls were really bare. We had nothing on our walls. I love decorating. I think it's so much fun. Annie loves it too. But I was like, what if we, instead of purchasing really, really, really expensive wall pieces, what if I just made them?
You're saying instead of purchasing very expensive accoutrements and decor, what if you could make it yourself?
Yeah, that was a lot better well-spoken.
No. This is what you just said was profound, because I would never say this kind of thing. My wife, in fact, is like, could you help hang a picture?
You would purchase it all.
I'd purchase it all.
Yeah. He's always adding to it.
I'm always adding
guilty
to
of some of that. But.
So I want to get your take on. We'll talk about this product, and I want to get my wife's take on this, and then I want to get your wife's take on this, because my wife is really doing 57% of the lifting in our business. I just give her no credit, so she's 57%, and then no one gives
me a ton of credit.
But anyway, so I want to. So this idea, you said, what if I just made this wall decor?
Yeah, so we have a style in our home. It's something that we just love. It makes us feel cozy and at home. But we realized that there wasn't a lot of spiritual decor with this style.
When you say cozy and at home, do you mean, is it like a kind of a tacky Mexican restaurant with a lot of neon green, like peppers hanging up? Because that's how I would do it. I mean, when you say, what is that?
He would do this, yes.
I would do this.
He did do this for a Festivus party.
My wife's always like, put that in the man cave. You do not.
We actually had peppers strung across. I think you kept all those too.
Yeah, no, I had a deer that moved.
True. I'm like, do we have to put that in the yard?
Oh my gosh!
So you have apparently. I mean, when you say class, is that what you mean? I mean, I just want to know. Don't laugh at me. This is real life, man.
He's passionate about this.
Fantastic.
Okay.
Not quite that style.
Okay.
We're a little off.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, I would say it's more. Maybe you could speak into it. We like leather, but we like.
A lot of neutrals.
Neutrals,
kind of earthy.
Kind of earthy.
Yeah. Like exposed wood. We love that.
Have you been to Elephant in the Room, our men's grooming lounge chain before?
No.
When do you leave? Are you leaving tomorrow? Are you leaving today?
Leave Saturday morning.
You need to go there before you go, and maybe just do like a beard trim up or something.
Okay. It's
$1. So I mean, if we'll give your money back. If you don't
go ahead and get the whole experience while you're there. You'll love it.
It feels like Soho, New York. It's like urban minimalism. It sounds like you would like the barnwood and the reclaimed materials, that kind of thing. And with this business, is your wife working on it more than you? Who's really steering the ship? Or is it a collective thing? Who's really, Annie, are you taking the reins here? Are you leading this company to success here? Or are you?
I would say we both probably work about the same amount on it.
Okay.
He does more of the design aspects, and then I try to do like the background of it, just the accounting, like is this going to sell? Are we making money?
You're me.
Yeah. So
You're asking those
it takes
offensive
both.
questions. Is this actually making money?
Yeah.
No, but it looks awesome.
Looks great.
That's exactly what. Yeah.
So I want to get my wife's take on this because we have a lot of entrepreneurs that listen, and what they'll do is they'll go, "Oh my gosh, like you, man, you, what you're doing, man. That's what I've wanted to do, man. You're a entrepreneur. You're a serial entrepreneur. I see the men's grooming lounge, and I see the conferences, and I see the marketing company. Man, you got to figure it out, man." And then I say, "Have you been around me at all?" No, I have no discernible skills. I'm not good at anything except for building companies, but I'm only good at half of it. The second half of it's really the accounting. And my wife is like, that's the big thing. Vanessa, could you talk about your role in Thrive and the business ventures and all the contracts you're looking at and like Tip Top Canine, all the percentages and the numbers and all that sort of stuff?
I'd like to hit this from two areas, if that's okay, because we're married too. So I think for some people that throws like, oh my gosh, into it. But for us, it really works well. And the business is actually a blessing to us, because we see it as a way to grow together. So we constantly are looking, and in meeting, we'll go out to schedule dinners, like once a month. I mean, we go out on dates about once a week, but once a month to really sit down and say, okay, are these decisions that we have in front of us, like just because something's good doesn't mean it's the highest and best. And so we want to know, is this something that's going to grow us closer together? And is this going to take us closer to our goal? And that's so important.
I want to interrupt real quick because this is what happens every time that she says something like, "Honey, this is good, but it's maybe not our highest and best use." I immediately will say something rational like, "Are you kidding me? What in the world? Why do you hate my dreams?" And then I'll come, and she'll give me that look.
Because you're such a doer. He's such an action taker that he's like, he can pounce on everything. I'm like, wait, let's just get all the cards on the table and see, is this really, what we want to pour our time and effort to? Because I know he's so talented and he'll work so hard at whatever it is. Is this worth it?
I am not exaggerating. I literally will lose my mind, and my mind is over here, and it's an outer body experience. I get really funny when I'm mad.
He does. He gets very funny.
Me? My wife says, "Baby, you're getting closer to."
Tell him about when I said, "Hey, I think." Because I saw this. He was helping people start businesses, and he was still DJ. And I was like, I really think this is what you're going to do, and you're going to like transition. Because everyone knew him as a DJ. But I'm like, no, he's a business guy. And I remember having this conversation and tell them what you said. You took me to the bottom with it. I had to go to Jesus after this. It was within
earshot of our DJs. But we had a house at 91st and Lynn Lane. It's a big 6,000 square foot house, and half of the house was DJs.
I think
half
I came
the house
to you
was
privately and was like,
but they heard
conversation.
But they heard this. Though.
Okay.
There was a sky bridge that connected it,
Yeah.
and I said to her, I don't remember how I got into it, but it ended up going, "I'll DJ until the last day of my life. I'll DJ my own funeral.
I'll DJ till I'm 80s."
And then I paid the guys in the office to Photoshop a version of Benjamin Franklin, his head with like the skull where he has.
We still have this somewhere.
He's bald with the long hair in the back. I put my head superimposed on Benjamin Franklin's body, and I said, "This is me DJing when I'm 80 with wooden teeth." And it was like a huge deal that I was going to be the oldest DJ in the world.
I'm like, Lord, please, will you please tell him this is not what's happening?
Oh, it's so true and so bad. So I want to ask Annie there. Now we get more rational. Does he ever do that? Does he ever have like a huge idea that's not functional and mathematically possible, and you point it out, and then if this does happen, does he react much better than I do, or does he lose his mind to get funny like I do? Because I literally lose my mind every time. I'll lose my mind. Like tonight we're going on a date. So I'm in date mode right now. I'm kind of feeling
warming
sexy.
up. You're warming up.
Yeah, I'm getting copacetic. I'm smooth. But I'm telling you, we do our weekly accounting every Friday. I'm like, why does she hate my visions? So I just
it doesn't happen that often.
I'm serious, and she's always right. She's like, I have a record of 1,000 for 1,000. But I want to ask you, does he react well, or do you ever point out that things aren't mathematically possible?
Oh, never.
Never?
No, I'm just kidding. It happens a lot.
Does it?
He's been laughing really hard because I think he's like, oh, I'm not alone.
I feel like I was just looking into my own
You are not alone.
Really. It's actually great to hear you guys' insight on that.
But I think what's so wonderful about it is realizing that you guys are actually, just like us, you guys are on the same team. So you both want the success. So you're just taking a step back from it and saying, okay, let's breathe deeply for a minute. Is this what's going to help get us closer to that success? And as you were asking, what are those things that I and probably Annie do to get y'all there? I handle anything that has to do with payment. If it's money coming in, if it's money going out. So I like to track, are we making money? And is this going down, or is this going up, or is this worth it? Did we take on this client, but it's just a break even? Or
it's so fun for me. Business is a sport. and it's like just so easy to win with it. I think it's like you help a company grow, and Vanessa's like,
and
yeah,
he would honestly just do it because you like it. Sometimes I point out, I'm like, I do want to make sure we make money on these things because this is time you're away from the family, but he's passionate about it. And I get it. There's things I'm passionate about. I'm like, I'm going to do it for free. He's like, no, you make sure you get paid for that.
Here's an example. I won't mention the guy's name, but we have a guy who's very, very successful, huge, and he can't write. He can't write a book. He struggles with written word, but he's very genius level.
Yeah.
And so he just can't compose a book. So I didn't ask my wife, and I'm like, cool, I'll write your book. So I wrote this book, and then people said, man, this book is awesome. And he tells me, I'm going to put on the book such and such with Clay Clark. It's going to happen. Boom, 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 boom. And then when he gets on Amazon, sells 100,000 copies. No mention of Mr. Clay Clark. But she saw me write the book.
And I just said, you should ask for at least, I'm like, because you wrote the book.
And I did. I wrote every word of the book. And it was literally just an interview. And I wrote 200 words or 200 pages around that. And no credit, nothing. But to this day, he's like, you're the man. And I mention you in the book. I give you props in the book.
Well, you mentioned yourself in the book because
I did weave in a couple. Yeah. He didn't catch that in the final edit. Yes. But all I'm saying is, someone asks you as an artist, I mean, have you ever had a project that you're working on that you're like, this thing, you do a ton of work and you didn't get paid for it or you're featured on? You just mentioned a specific one, but I mean, you got, you did a lot of work, you wrote something, you performed in something, and it didn't end up turning out the way you thought it would, and maybe your wife goes, I told you. I mean, does this ever happen, or is it just me? Because I feel like there's somebody out there who needs to hear this. There's somebody out there that's, no or no.
There have definitely been situations. I feel like since we're so new at marriage, only 2.5 years in, there hasn't been that instance quite yet.
Yeah.
In my own life, sure, there have been disappointing times where someone says one thing and does another, but that's life, I think.
Yeah.
Can I tell you one thing real quick that I'm so excited about them? I love that it just reminds me of us. I mean, we got married a week after I turned 20, and we started everything together. And I love that you guys are doing this together. I think that's such a special thing. And
absolutely.
Just to be conscious of doing that and creating the life that you want together. Sometimes I feel like people go in two different directions.
But they're growing together.
Yeah, I just love it. I think it's such a special thing. And so I think that you all should just cherish that and nurture that because it's awesome. It's awesome as you see the successes happen and know that you've all built this together. It's super cool. So
what's the name of this incredible home decor company you're growing together?
Yeah, it's called Heritage Decor. The website is heritagedecorstore.com. But yeah, like I said, we literally just saw a need in our own house, and we filled that need in our house. And then people started commenting on the product, and they were like, "Man, that looks really good." And we're like, "Oh, really? You like it? That's cool. It just kind of fits our need." But then we got more and more inquiries, so we're like, "Man, maybe we should just launch this thing." So we did. And
so heritagedecorstore.com. I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah.
Being very judgmental, looking at it right now.
Probably
should. Just make some. I'm like
awesome.
I'm like the John Madden of websites that just comment. Like, boom, there's a lion over there. Boom, boom. It's a
the lion and the lamb.
What is this? Are you passionate about lions? Talk to me about this. What does this mean? What is this picture all about?
Yeah, so all of the decor is inspired from Scripture. So we'll use Scripture, and then we convert it into a style that's a little more pleasing than some of the other Christian decor out there, or at least a style that fits our style.
Do you sell Carmen posters?
No, but we should. We'd probably make a lot more money that way.
Okay, I'm just curious. Okay, you don't sell Carmen posters. What about Michael W. Smith?
Good friend, but no.
Amy Grant. Do you sell any Amy Grant decor? Any Amy Grant themed kind of things?
Maybe we come out with a CCM themed.
Yeah, I just would love it if you would have some shameless 1990s praise and worship leader decor. That's what I'm looking for.
How should I?
Now, talk to me about your musical career right now. You don't have to share with me any specifics or things that are confidential. I'm just
Top
curious.
secret.
Where are you growing as a couple musically? Because your wife performs with you on stage. Is this true? Is this true?
Yes, we loved it. It's favorite part of the night every night for me is when Annie comes on for a song called Through All of It, and the crowd cheers as loud as they have the whole night when she walks out, and then it's
well, because she's smarter than you.
That's exactly right.
Okay.
She's the brains behind it all.
So tell me about your musical career. Where do you see it growing in the next 5 years? Where do you guys see 5 years from now, everything comes together and it's going to happen. I know it's going to happen for you. You're talented. You got your heart in the right spot. It's just awesome. Where's it going to be? Where do you vision that, or where do you think God's calling you to be in the next 5 years?
What's so kind of pros and cons of what has been happening is since American Idol, I was just kind of thrown into the rush of it. So there hasn't been a ton of time to really stop and go, where do I want it to go? I've just been thrust right into it. But now that things have honestly slowed down a little, I've been able to kind of look at the landscape and go, and I've been able to talk to God about it. Be like, God, where do you want me to go?
Right.
What I would love to do is I would love to have my own tour. We've always found that when you have your own show, when you're the headliner and people are coming to a show, they're coming for you.
Yeah.
They're coming because they know and love your music, not because they know and love Stephen Curtis Chapman's music or Third Day's music. It's like, oh, who's this Colton Dixon guy? Right. So one of my bigger goals in the next few years is to start hitting smaller markets and headlining. And then the next time we visit Tulsa, hit a B market instead of a C market. And then the third time we come through, maybe we're getting to A markets. So that's something I'm really excited and passionate about. I've seen other bands do that, and it's like, how are they headlining this tour? It's like, oh, they were really smart about their time. Instead of going into Tulsa, they were going into a suburb of Tulsa. And, so I think that's really smart. It's what I want to do more of. And obviously I want to point people to Jesus all at the same time. So
now, Annie, where do you see? Have you guys? I mean, where do you kind of see 5 years from now? Do you so you're touring around together? What else do you see happening there in the Dixon family empire?
I think like what he's doing will continue to grow, and like the reach that has. I say that because I believe in what's being said and what's being heard. I mean, we might have kids at that time. Like we've been talking about that and kind of what that's going to look like, and if we'll be on the road or not.
Are you going to have a rational number of kids, like 5?
Probably have 12. No.
Yeah, 12. Yeah, but one up everybody.
He's sweating over there. Yeah, we're going to start with like 1 or 2, and then probably go from there. But who knows? I mean, who knows?
Yeah.
So
we're
excited
kind of
though.
About too, but
who
knows? Yeah.
I mean,
So now we're in the top 10 of iTunes for business, and there's a lot of people that tune into this to learn about business and how to grow a successful company. And your career, yes, it's your passion, but it's also your income. So I want to ask you about music, a little bit about the payment structure. If somebody subscribes to, let's say they're going to a Spotify, and they're paying $10 a month for a Spotify account, and they play one of your songs, or they get a song on iTunes or whatever. If someone buys a song on iTunes for $2 or $1.50, what does it cost to buy a song on iTunes right now? What is it, $1.50 or
$1.99 maybe?
How do you get paid?
That's a really loaded question.
I'm sorry to load it up, but I specialize in loading it up, paying you into a corner, giving you no way out, and then saying, go for it.
Man, honestly, I don't make a lot of money off of music, even though I'm in the music industry.
But it's more of the merchandise and the touring. And
so touring and merch are the two biggest sources of income that I have as an artist.
Okay.
That is not to say don't buy the music or don't whatever. Everything's going to streaming now, which is a whole nother conversation. But honestly, across the board in the music industry, in the last few years, it's kind of been turned upside down. I am a former DJ guy. I do not like streaming anything because I really like that people would pay. So like I use Adobe, and I pay a monthly to use Adobe. And I don't like that artists don't get paid for their actions. It's like a beef I have. I'm a big guy who likes to buy the music, But if somebody buys a song for $2, do you get like 10 cents? Do you get 20 cents? Do you get like? I want to know that. I mean, what if you download one song off iTunes? How much am I getting? So being going into the technical side of it, there are two sides of a coin. So there's two full 100%. There's the writing side, and then there's the artist side. Got it. So the writing side is whoever wrote the song, and then you divide that. So if there are 3 people who wrote the song, you get 33.3%. Got it. So forth. The other side is the label side. You're the artist on the deal. However, when you're with a label, most of the time they front the money. Got it. It's basically 360 deal. So they'll take percentages of everything to get recouped on the front that they gave you for the record. So if the record's $100,000, which is chump change in mainstream world, but bear with me, $100,000, then you're going to make a smaller percentage on your record until you recoup that. Then your percentage will increase. That I honestly, off the top of my head, I don't remember what that percentage is.
Speaking of off the top of your head, what percentage of your income do you spend on your hair? Because your hair is the kind of hair that if I had hair like that, I would rule the entire eastern bloc of Europe. I've got a lot of, I grind. I'm a hustler. I would be the Vladimir Putin of the world if I had hair like yours. I would go into countries. I would walk in and I'd say, this is how it's going to happen. My hair and I will rule. And I would just, people would say, oh, it's amazing. And I have a little bit, I'm a grinder. So if you take my grind mixed with any, and if I had your voice too, if I had yours if I had any skills at all, mixed with your hair and my business prowess, I would have definitely at least 3 to 4 countries right now locked up. And we'd be moving westward. People would be, it'd be a very benevolent dictatorship, be copacetic. We would all listen to R&B music primarily, but people would listen to it or they would be sent to re-education camps. But I would be taking over the world if I had that kind of hair. So I want to know how much time, how much money, what percentage of the pie chart is spent on that hair? It's amazing. Do you name it?
Wow. No, I've not named it. Maybe
look at that hair. I mean, I'm online. Look at look at this. I'm going to pull up the Festival of Hair. Look at this. Hair over here. There's hair over there. There's hair everywhere. I mean, look at that. I got nothing. I own a men's grooming lounge that's franchising all over the planet, and I wear a hat. I wear a hat. Do you think about that? I have a men's grooming lounge. You go in there, and you're going to see all these stylish people, and I walk in, and they go, it's him again. Frick. This guy, I got nothing to work with. I was actually a demo model the other day, and they were talking about, what's the bone, the occipital bone, whatever, occipital bone. They're going, you've got like a dinosaur bone back here. My head's screwed up. I mean, talk to me about your hair. Seriously, how much time, I'm going to ask your wife, Annie, how much time does this guy spend with his hair? Does he spend more time with his mop than you do? More time with his, does he spend more time messing with his wig before the gigs than you do?
Sometimes, I'm not going to lie.
No, talk about it. I want to know what product. Get into it. Give us the good. Give us the. Look at that. It's like different colors. It's fascinating.
It's a process. He's got to like shave the sides like 3 times a week, I think.
Do you do that? Do you do that with him, or do you help him? Is this a spiritual interaction?
No, I let him do his thing.
That's wise.
It's just too much. Sometimes I help him color it if we're desperate.
Do you pull over when you're on tour? You have a stylist that travels with you who trims that mop? I mean, what do you do? How do you? What does he do? Does he have someone go with you guys, or?
He's got a guy in Nashville.
Really?
Yeah, great
that's
guy.
Cut my hair for years.
He loves you because I own a men's grooming lounge. If I had a customer comes in 3 times a week, I'm like, I love you. We have a lot in common. You're my kind of guy. I love your music. Does he spend more time than you on hair? Does he spend more time?
With this particular hairstyle, no.
Okay.
But that has happened before.
Yeah, it's totally
for
happened.
Sure. The flat iron and
busted.
I mean.
Nice. Okay. Now, so we have your home decor business. We've talked about this. I want to make sure everybody knows they can check it out again. ColtonDixon.com. Those where you can find your music. And you're on Spotify.
Yes.
What can we find up on Spotify? Is it your whole collection or certain songs?
Yeah, whole collections on Spotify and Apple Music. Honestly, I think we're making the switch over to Spotify just because of all of the awesome playlists.
Yeah.
But you'll find some of my songs on some cool playlists, and it's just a lot more interactive that we know of anyway. Check out the music there.
And then Annie, you also mentioned Apple Music. What can we find up there on Apple Music? Can we find what we can find on Spotify, or is it different collections? Or
no, it's all the collections.
Okay, so Apple Music and Spotify there.
Whole deal.
And I've got some rude rapid fire questions from fans.
Awesome.
In my office who are, he's going to run us out! So I tried to calm them down, give them a tranquilizer adult, and they were able to compose themselves to write these. So the question is, what is your weakest quality, Colton Dixon? What is your weakest quality? That's a rough question from a fan. Rude.
I feel like you should ask my wife.
I'm not looking at you.
Yeah. My weakest quality.
Yeah. Can I go first?
Yeah.
That way you can one up me with something more civilized, more classic. 'Cause that was a rude question. I know for me, I have no empathy, just at all, like zero. It's like literally like I don't understand it. I'm just like someone's like could have their arm lacerated. I'm like just put some duct tape on it, get back to work. So people want to celebrate their birthdays, and I'm like, that's a communist idea. Get back to work. So that's kind of that's me, no empathy. I work on that every week. I get 1% better. I now have just slight outbursts of empathy, like look, it's their birthday. How you doing? But then I get back to work. But
That's not that bad.
it's a pretty bad thing sometimes. My wife knows. It's like, just calm down. Celebrate a birthday. What do you got there? What's your weakest?
Weakest, I think the weakest thing about me is I'm really quick to get emotional about sensitive things. Like Pixar movies.
Really? You cry a lot? You're a crier?
I'm a crier in movies, man.
Father the Bride took me to the bottom.
Oh, yeah, he couldn't recover for a couple days from Father the Bride.
I watched Father the Bride, and I literally...
Havana's 9-year-old birthday, you weeped at that thing,
I kept crying. I watched Father the Bride, and I'm like weeping, and it threw me into an emotional tailspin where I couldn't get it together for 48 hours.
That's awesome.
Rudy did the same thing too.
Yeah, Rudy got me going. I love Rudy every time. Yeah. Pixar movies. We share the same soul.
That's
is good to know.
That's good.
What is the favorite thing? What is the favorite part of what you do right now? Someone writes here. What is the favorite part of your career? I mean, what are you most thankful for? I guess, or what do you like the most about what you two do as a couple? There, and I'm going to start with your wife here. Yeah. Annie, what are you most appreciative, or what are you most grateful for about what you get to do together as a couple?
Yeah, I think like traveling the country together is really cool to get to see what is happening at the shows, and it's honestly like a real honor and privilege to get to be a part of that. Most wives stay home, they have other responsibilities, or they just don't like the road, but I feel so blessed to be able to just do this together, and as a couple, like you talked about, Vanessa. So yeah, it's a huge blessing, honestly, just to be there.
This is a tough question. The final one I'm going to ask you. My wife can ask any question she wants because she's my life coach and boss here. So she's gonna hit you guys with a tough question, and then it's gonna just scorched earth. You're gonna leave here going, "Oh, why did we do that interview?" No, but this is a question that someone wants to know. They want to know. This is tough. How do you balance your public persona with your private persona? That's a great question. They said, how do you? I guess you're in front of the cameras a lot. You're on stage a lot. And do you have to? Get up there and you just finished having like some epic battle where you discovered that you were wrong yet again. Mr. Dixon, you discovered yet again you're wrong, and all of a sudden you have to go up there and perform. I mean, how do you balance the private, the public? Because you guys are in the public eye a lot. How do you balance that? What do you do?
That's, I feel like that's changed so much for artists ever since social media came around, because so much of what was private is now very public.
Ooh.
I honestly... Maybe sometimes to a fault, but maybe I don't balance it well enough. I'm pretty open, maybe sometimes too open. But yeah, maybe you can help me with this one, babe.
How do you balance public and private persona? That's the final question I have for you from your fan community.
Honestly, I feel like Colton is pretty much the same person. Like if we have to do like a video promoting something, he will act the exact same as he's talking to someone, just a friend. Like he will do it the same. He's just kind of like the same on and off the stage, which I think can be really good. I think sometimes maybe you get too comfortable, or he cracks a joke on stage that everyone doesn't laugh at or something, but he's just being himself.
Yeah.
But I think he's pretty authentic with that.
Boom. Vanessa, do you have a tough question for these lovebirds before we wrap up and stop harassing them?
I don't. I apologize that I don't. I'm just really excited for y'all. And like I said, I'm really excited, like Annie said, and that you all are doing this together. It's such a special thing. And then you'll navigate. We did it together without kids, and then we added kids, and just kind of, I felt like we were a unique thing. I didn't know anyone else who was doing the same thing we did, but we kind of threw our kids in the mix. And it was so important to me that whatever we did as a family. And so I'm so excited for y'all, and I think that's so special.
Well, Thrive Nation, I tell you what, it's an honor to have you guys on there. Annie Dixon, it's great to have you on there. Colton Dixon, great to have the Lovebirds on there. Glad to see you guys were able to stop making out for a few minutes while we're doing this interview. That got kind of awkward. But anyway, check them out at coltondixon.com, coltondixon.com, whether you love Christian music or not. If you love music, check out coltondixon.com. My name is Clay Clark. That's Colton Dixon. He has better hair than I have. And as always, when in this podcast, with a boom. But seriously, that hair, just Google search it. You don't know what you're missing out on. It's a cornucopia of awesome hair, accoutrements, decor, the swagaliciousness of that. I mean, just the plethora of hair product that's got to be working together there to make that perfect mixture. It's probably organic too. I tell you that. It looks organic. Check it out. It's coltondixon.com. Look him up on the old Googles. Again, and as always, we like to end this thing with a boom. So 3, 2, 1, boom.